Thank you, um, Professor Mustafa. Um, I think I would again welcome everyone. We have a very good number. Thank you everyone for joining on in this webinar on building a community of practice for technology-enabled learning. I would remind everyone again to switch off their mics or mute their mic. You can see the mute option on the left hand corner of the Zoom screen on, down, and you can mute that. During the presentation, if you have questions or comments to make, please use the chat box and ask and type in your comments or questions, making everyone to see. You can send it as questions or comments to everyone, or if you want something very special, you can type in and send it to Professor Mustafa. He will use appropriate discretion to ask this question on behalf of you during uh, uh, the question and answer. And once the presentation is over, which I expect it to be around 20 minutes, you can raise request speaking option. So you will also get some opportunity to ask questions directly on audio, and we will continue. We expect this to be over by uh, 9 a.m. Vancouver time, which is approximately about 60 minutes of this session to go on. So thank you very much again, and let me continue with the presentation. The objective of this session, you might see there will be a delay in the screen that you see. Um, the objective of this session is to provide an overview of the technology-enabled learning initiative and the rationale for the community of practice. We'll show some of the features of the platform. We'll discuss about our plans to build the community of practice. And most importantly, the objective of this first session on our first webinar session is to actually solicit the support of the TEL community of practitioners around the world, and particularly in the Commonwealth countries. This activity is closely related to the outcomes of Commonwealth of Learning that we envisage in the current strategic plan from 2015 to 2021. We are expecting that calls, support, and intervention will improve sustainable livelihood. We're expecting increase and equitable access to and use of quality learning opportunities, and improved organizational capacity to leverage open distance learning and technology enabled learning. This activity is primarily going to support LTO2, long-term outcomes 2, and long-term outcomes 3, that is on increased equitable access and equality learning opportunities and improved organizational capacity to leverage open distance learning and technology enabled learning. Many of you know that CALL uses a results-based management framework where we have certain inputs which results into certain outputs, and as a result, there is a change that happens. So in a sense, the community of learning platform itself is an input in a sense, but the activities that will happen on the platform are outputs, but the outcomes will be visible in your institution. in your individual practices and in the practices of your students. So I think it's very important for us to position the community of practice within an outcome-based framework. What is that we are going to achieve? The different levels of activities that we do under technology enabled learning can be categorized into micro activities, major activities, and meso level activities at individual level, institutional level, and at national level. We are envisaging that because of the interventions of technology enabled learning, more open educational resources will be created by teachers. More institutions will be able to adopt policies and appropriate practices to use technology enabled learning. And because of these things, the quality of teaching and learning will improve, not only at the institutional level, but also at the national level. During all these things, our approach has to focus on policy, technology, and capacity. This is what we always talk about, that all the three things are important in an institutions to make technology enabled learning possible. If one of these things, either policy, technology, or capacity, is not adequately available or not matured enough, the progress of technology enabled learning gets limited. Therefore, our approach is to work with institutions to focus on all the three components of technology enabled learning. Currently, there are a large number of technology enabled learning partners. We have 4 key activities that we work. One is Commonwealth Digital Education Leadership Training in Action. The other one is ICT in education and OER policies at national level. And the third one is on technology enabled learning implementation, under which the TEL community of practice falls into. And the fourth one is advanced information and communication technology skills. In each of these, we have around 10 countries or institutions where we are already working with. But for this TEL community of practice, we are focusing only on TEL implementation partners like SNDT Owens University in India, Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technology in India, Ahsanullah University of Science and Technology, Bangladesh, Fiji National University, which actually hosts the TEL community of practice in practice, University of Papua New Guinea, National University of Samoa, University Malaysia Sabah, JUST in Kenya, and Kafuko in Kenya. There are many others also in the pipeline, and the platform is open to anyone who is interested to join in as well. Let me give a brief about the TEL community of learning platform. What it does, it connects TEL practitioners. It helps them to collaborate. It is a creative space where TEL practitioners can write blogs and share their creative endeavors. And of course, this is a space to celebrate our successes as a group or as a community. There are some interesting features that those who have registered on the platform or would register on the platform will see. We have a discussion forum. The discussion forums are of 2 types actually. One is a closed discussion forum for the particular institutions, and there are other open discussion forum where anyone can discuss and share. There are list of members. Anyone who registers will be visible on the membership list. There is a resources section, which is actually a digital repository of open educational resources. So we encourage everyone to share resources. There is a section on news, which currently have limited information, but we would expect it to grow with information from partner institutions. And of course, webinar. This is the first webinar we are having. There will be a blog post from members coming up soon. And of course, profile of the month. This is where we would like to celebrate all your successes, and we like to put on interviews of success members who have done significant work in the field of technology and enabled learning, either at an institutional level or at an individual level. What are we looking at as benefits to member? Because if you want to make this technology-enabled learning platform successful, we need to sell this to members. So all of you would like to go back to your institution and tell, look, this is a platform where we can collaborate, we can do something. And what is that each individual members gain in is very important. If individual ownership, if individuals don't see the benefit, building a community of practice is difficult to happen. So what we have tried to make it that the community of practice has been designed based on the needs of the members. And it came out actually initially from a brainstorming workshop that we did in 2018, December in Delhi. So the TEL community of practice platform helps members to participate in regular online discussion forums. As I said, you can have discussion amongst colleagues from your institution only, or with global audience on the platform. Participate in webinars like this. We would like to bring in on experts from around the world, including from non-Commonwealth countries. And of course, we would also like to have presentations from members who are interested to share their experiences with everyone else. This platform will provide collaboration opportunities, so you can actually have other members, know other members, and you can connect with them and or do research on specific issues. You can write blog posts, share your experiences, share stories from your institutions on your experiences using blogs, or you can also share things on the open repository. And of course, the profile of the month is something that will also celebrate the success of our members. So all these ideas are based on how we can motivate the members to be actively engaged. But before we actually look into that, we while designing the community of practice, we looked at what is a true community of practice. A true community of practice is normally a combination of three things: that there is a domain knowledge or expertise on which the community is anchored. There is something that community does, so the practice component. And the third and important component is the social dimension of the community. So if the members don't feel for each other, and if there is no socialization amongst the members of the communities, then the community of practice didn't work. Like I said, like our policy, capacity, and technology to make technology-enabled learning happen, community of practice would not happen if one of these things, either domain, practice, or community, is not there. So it's a community because the community believes in the domain, and they are not just observers, but they are doers. The community members are engaged in certain practice which they want to improve or share with others. That's how the community of practice uh, 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 brings in the cohesion into the community because of the three things. So what is there for us in terms of technology enabled learning community of practice? The domain what we are focusing on is technology enabled learning as a concept and practice, of course. It will also include open educational resources. It will also include open distance education, online learning, blended learning, and all related areas of discussions. The practice component would focus on how technology enabled learning is implemented in different countries and different institutions, and how learning management systems are used, what kind of learning management systems are used, whether it is proprietary, whether it is open source, or it's in-house build, but it's practice of using a learning management system to deliver teaching and learning. Use of open access repositories, how OER are being created and shared, leading to open educational practices. And of course, how quality of technology enabled learning is assured using TEL benchmarking approach. So all these things will be the practice component to be discussed and to be done by the members in their institutions. The community component, as you know, this platform is a global platform, anyone can join, but our focus is largely on TEL partner institutions. Any open and distance learning institution, any OER practitioners can join, or anyone who is interested in online learning and blended learning can join. So we're trying to build a platform where we will be able to provide meaning to the works of individual members who would join this community. So how do we plan to build the community of practice for technology enabled learning? We know that community of practice evolve over a period of time. Now we have a small number of members, but by the end of next year, we are planning to have at least about 1,200 members on the platform. The platform is only a common space, but I think the members are core of the COP. If you as members are not contributing to the platform, then the community of practice would not grow or develop as we intend. So therefore, participation is very key, and that participation has to be open communication. Open means here with, of course, due respect to the members' privacy and not to get engaged in flaring discussions. The community of practice also gives opportunity to both public and private spaces, so that closed group discussions also happen. The most important thing is non-judgmental sharing of experiences. And how can we capture other experiences to to build our own knowledge? So the community of practice, as a result, helps us to what we call is in the process of social construction of knowledge. So together, we are going to build a huge amount of knowledge, which would be in a way capturing the tacit knowledge of the group and make this tacit knowledge explicit knowledge through the community of practice. So what you can do, I would repeat, please volunteer yourself to contribute a blog on a topic of your interest. You might help us to identify speakers to whom you would like to listen in future webinars, which we expect to do at least one in a month. We might increase if there is demand. You share institutional news on TAL. You can you should definitely promote the platform amongst your colleagues in your institution. You can discuss institutional issues um, within your group in the on the platform or on the open space, and of course share resources on the open repository. And when you share resource on the open repository, we would suggest definitely use an open license so that others know that the document that you are sharing is available to be reused and repurposed by others. We should not share something which are just for sharing sake and copyrighted materials of others. So we need to take care of that. So you know that Commonwealth of Learning has lots of resources on technology-enabled learning. You can make use of all these resources, including understanding open educational resources, the TEL MOOC, and the C Delta platform, and there are many other resources on our calls repository. And you can make a use of those resources as a community of practice members. I would like to, at this stage, like to thank and introduce the coordinators of the technology-enabled learning platform, who are the anchors of the platform. I am the back end supporter of the platform, but the main anchor of the platform are Dr. Deepak Prasad from Fiji National University, who is actually the administrator of the platform. And whenever there is a membership request, it actually goes to he or his team to approve. And the key person who would be actually coordinating amongst members to collect information on the platform is Professor Mustafa. And I would suggest please be in touch with any of them if you have any suggestion. Of course, you can write to me as well, but most importantly, they would be the key people driving this along with you all members on the platform. At this stage, I would like to stop this presentation by thanking you all.